Good morning, class. So today we'll start off with a new chapter. So the chapter's name is from the slide you can see, forms of business organizations. That is, what are the different types of organizations that we will be dealing with, right? So from the previous chapter, if you're able to recall the last topic which we had taken up, so that is the choice of business, right? So in that, under that, you would have noticed one particular feature or one particular head that is called choice of form of organization, right? So different organizations are of different types. It can be you would have heard of you would have come across words like partnerships or say companies or say corporate societies. All these are different forms of business organizations. The only thing is that they have certain differences on the basis of how they earn and how they put in their investments and what is their major say motive, etc. So like that we'll be in this chapter we'll be dealing with the different types of business organizations. So today we'll start talking about sole proprietorship. So when you talk about sole proprietorship, when we say the word sole, it means single or one single person or an individual. So any businesses that are owned, managed and controlled and taken up by single persons or one single individual, and the same person will be the one who will be bearing all the risk that is related to that particular business which he's dealing with, and he'll be the only recipient of all the profits. That is, whatever profits the business will be reaping in, all the profits will belong to this particular owner or this single individual who is also known as the proprietor. So like we said, sole means only or say single, and the proprietor, the word proprietor, it refers to owner. So that is what we mean by this type of an organization. It's owned and controlled by one single person. He deals with all the activities in that organization that is controlling, and he is the sole person who will receive all the profits, and he is the single risk bearer. So coming to the features of this form of organization, there is no particular separate law to govern, which means when you talk about forming this particular company, or say when you need to not the company, organization. So when you need to start up one organization, or say close this kind of an organization when there is only one person as the owner, we do not have any particular legal formality uh, that is pertain to this particular form of organization. So it is like it's pretty much of an easy formation. Okay, there is an ease in formation of sole proprietor company, or sorry, organization. All right. The next is sole bearer and profit earner. So, like we said in the definition, in a sole proprietorship firm or organization, the entire risk will be borne by this owner, right? And just because of the same reason, he'll be the only person who will be receiving all the profits. Yeah, he'll be liable for all the losses. At the same time, he'll be entitled to receive all these profits that he'll earn, right? Next is the absolute power. All right, now the control, or say the power of governing this entire firm will be, okay, let's call a proprietorship, it's better to call them a firm rather than an organization. Okay, so a firm is under the complete control of the single owner or the single proprietor. Yeah, all the decisions related to business, say entering into new contracts or anything, it will be solely taken by this owner, right? And it is not a separate legal entity. By saying separate, the word separate legal entity means the business is actually, or the firm will actually be treated as separate when it comes in case of companies or say other societies, etc. But in case of sole proprietor firms, the person or the sole proprietor or the owner and the firm is considered to be one and the same, right? So what happens here is the owner is, since he is the one who is responsible for all the activities of the business, there is no separate identity from him, from the firm for the owner. See, it's like the owner and the entity being the firm will be one and the same. Then the next one is lack of continuity in case of death, insanity, bankruptcy. So I think this is self-explanatory. So situations come up like, we never know what happens in the future. So in case the sole owner dies, or say loses sanity, or say or if he goes bankrupt, or in all such cases, or say, or even maybe if he's imprisoned, or say if there are any sorts of physical ailments he's going through, and if he's that is basically we're talking about situations where he is fit to, or where he's deemed unfit for rolling out the firm. What happens is it will affect the continuity of the business, meaning, say say for example, in case of death of the owner, the company will also cease to exist, right? So the firm's functioning will end in the case of death, insanity, bankruptcy, physical ailments, or say imprisonment in some cases. This will cause a discontinuity in the business firm, right? So these are the features of a sole proprietor firm. The next, we'll be talking about joint Hindu family businesses. So we'll be dealing that in the next class. So right now, please focus on sole proprietorships, and if possible, try to get some examples on that. And in the textbook, you'll have the merits and demerits of the sole of following a sole proprietor form of business. Try to think of what you think will be the merits and demerits of this following this kind of an organization structure. All right. And the next day, we'll continue with a joint Hindu family business. Right. Thank you, class.